And welcome back, everyone, to the Bulldog Blitz Football Radio Show, presented by Two Hats Ranch. Rob Bentley and Sandy Golston with you. We're joined by Ferris State University football alum and assistant coach Tyler Shreve. And, Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I know here at this point of the season, just going into the final 2 games here of the regular season, what does it mean to have the Bulldogs really playing for a conference title and obviously a high spot here in the Division II playoffs?
Yeah, definitely just keeping that internal focus. I think that's something that we've been really good at over the years. Really not focused on different spots or places that we can be in towards the end of the year, but really focused on how can we become the best version of ourselves every single day.
Obviously, you being a Ferris State football alum, what's it been like, I guess, transitioning from being a player here not that long ago to now being a key member here of the coaching staff?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Coming from the offensive line, now I work on the defensive side of the football, and Coach Smith couldn't have been any better taking me in. My first year here, we have Caleb Murphy, who goes and sets the sack record for all the NCAA, and that was just really special to be a part of. And then the transition over the course of the years, and it's been really good.
Obviously, as a former offensive lineman, what are some things that you do to help those defensive line guys? I guess working against those offensive linemen.
Yeah, there's no substitution for physicality, Rob. Honestly, so you just try and get the most physical dudes in there, have them lift a lot of weights, and come off and strike people. Going
back to this past Saturday's game, long road trip coming off an emotional win over Grand Valley State. Maybe just talk about how the guys performed, especially on the defensive side against the Wildcats and kind of facing a unique offense.
Definitely a unique offense. Kind of did some different things on the defensive side of the football this week. And the guys were assignment sound. That's all you look for in that game, really. Got to have a guy for the dive, got to have a guy for the quarterback, got to have a guy for the pitch. And I think our guys executed quite well.
Yeah, and talk about the execution, because you have 1 week to prepare for an offense that you just don't see very often. And your guys were able to pull that together. And a lot of it, I got to think, is because of the experience that you guys have defensively.
Yeah, certainly. I think on the coaching staff especially, going all the way back to the Montrose days of Ryan Hodges, our defensive coordinator, and head coach Tony Anise. I think the veer is something that is at least was instrumental in our program and some of our program success. And, just the idea of having a dive back, having a quarterback player and a pitch player. It's something we do during spring ball. It's something we do during fall camp all the time. We see that all the time from a different offensive set or formation, but really those principles stay the same throughout any defense you play.
Yeah, it looked like Northern Michigan, they kind of had a nice drive going early, and but like you guys do so often, you might bend but you don't break, and you kind of keep people between the 20s, and you were able to finally get the turnover that you converted into a touchdown. That's got to feel good for you guys defensively when you can get one of those defensive touchdowns.
Certainly it does, and I think Coach Tony Anise on the defensive side of the football, he's done a great job this year calling plays and keeping us in positions where, people say bend don't break all the time, but really what that means is you're limiting explosive offensive plays. And I think Coach Anise on the defensive side of the football has done just a wonderful job with play calling and not giving people too much, pressuring when he needs to pressure, keeping people in coverage when he needs to keep people in coverage, playing around with different fronts on the defensive line. And then the players have just done an awesome job going out there and executing every single day. A lot of senior leadership from, Cefa, Connor, Jason Williams, those kind of guys communicating well and keeping our defense together.
And just talk about that defense, because you guys have to really be good at all 3 levels, and you guys really have been from week 0 all the way through to where we are right now with just 2 games left in the regular season. Just talk about all 3 levels working together, all sets of coaches working together to really produce a great defense.
Yeah, the coaching staff's been awesome. Grant Caserta does a great job getting his guys prepared every week. Our defensive coordinator, Ryan Hodges, does a great job, co-defensive coordinator. Tony Anise does a great job with, just preparing the kids and putting them in situations during practice that they see in the games, and then the kids can go out there and execute. And then the players' execution has just been outstanding so far this year. We talk about it all the time, being a layered defense. So exactly what you're saying, from the defensive line to the linebackers to the safeties, you won't see too many plays where people break through the line and there's not another player right there ready to tackle. And we don't play kind of like a defense in a line. We play it stacked in layers.
No question about it. And I want to talk about another aspect of this team that I think has been really special, and that's your depth. Because I think you can speak to this from a former player standpoint and also from a current coach standpoint. You guys really have, and Rob says it a lot, that next man up mentality. And so, but to have that, you have to have guys that are prepared to play, and you guys really do a great job with player development.
Yeah. That's one of the principles of Coach Anis's program is that we're always going to try and develop players, bring kids in from high school, and then they're going to be brought up in those principles. Coach Smith does a great job on our defensive line specifically of, getting guys ready to go during spring ball time, during winter conditioning time. That's where you see them earn their stripes, right? And then they come out during fall ball and, they really they develop and create physical players with a lot of depth, and that's how we've done it.
And speaking of that player development and just preparedness, you guys take practice really seriously. I know a lot of programs are going to say they take practice very seriously, but we come to a lot of practices and you guys take it very seriously. But that's the proving ground for a lot of these players. And you guys also had a lot of players that stuck around here in town over the summer that had strong spring practice schedule and then came really into the fall practice schedule ready to go.
The level of commitment by our staff and players is second to none around the country. I firmly believe in that.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about yourself and your journey and what are some of your goals?
Yeah, definitely. So, my journey as a player here from 2016 to 2021, we were able to go to a national title in 2018, win a national title in 2021. I always knew I was going to be a coach. I graduated secondary education, high school teaching, social studies, and physical education. And now I'm pursuing a master's degree in educational leadership as I continue to coach. I'm not exactly sure what coaching looks like for me in the future, but just excited to be along for this run.
And just talk about the program really supporting you in terms of going after a master's degree, and you're smart, by the way, getting it done at a young age. Trust me, it gets a little bit tougher when you get older, but so congratulations to you on that. But also talk about the support because you guys have had a history of former players as grad assistants, either finishing their undergrad degree or pursuing a master's degree.
Certainly. Well, if you just look at a few people on the defensive side of the football, Dylan Roney, who went and he was actually in our defensive line room. He goes to a few different places as a graduate assistant stop and ends up at the University of Michigan. He wins a national title there, and now he's coaching for the Chargers of the NFL. And then you look at Casey Zenner, I know, who after being done being a student assistant coach here, he went and coached at Western Michigan, where he picked up two graduate degrees. Yeah, there's a long-standing tradition of support from the athletic department in that, support from our coaching staff. It's one of our pillars, of trying to be the best football player you can, and when you're done, become the best of whatever you are doing after that.
Yeah, and that just prompted a bonus question before I kick it back to Rob. You guys as a program, you have to be so proud of your guys that make it to the NFL. And then you mentioned, Dylan Roney, who's having his young career is off to a great start. But talk about not only Dylan Roney again, maybe if you want to, but also about some of those NFL guys, because they got their start here and maybe were not as heralded coming out of high school, but they really improved in this program.
Well, yeah. Before we do that, I'll give you another bonus. Travis Russell comes here now. Yes. He's a coach at the University of Massachusetts. Steve Kasula was our offensive coordinator for a while here, and now he's coaching at the University of Michigan. Coach Anis's tree is just extraordinary as far as coaching tree goes, and so it's awesome to be brought up in that tree. Honored to work for him every single day.
And then plus he knows NFL guys.
Yeah, so then the NFL dudes. I mean, you get in here and there's Zach Sealer and Tav Thomas, and there's Brady Sheldon and Austin Edwards, and you go to a little bit before my time and Jake Lampman and Justin Zimmer and Jason Vanderlaan, and then you go to Caleb Murphy and just a bunch of guys that are they're full of grit. All those NFL dudes, they're full of grit. They're talented, yeah, but they were really important in setting the standards for this program, which are lift weights, be physical, know your stuff, go out and play.
Tyler, I know you work closely with Coach Smith, as you mentioned, on the defensive line. And maybe just talk about the relationship you guys have. I see you guys walking all over town together and, of course, all over the building.
Yeah, certainly. So, 2022, we get to coach Caleb Murphy, who's, one of the most extraordinary pass rushers the game's ever seen at the NCAA level. And then going forward, we get to coach guys like Ian Hall and LeRae and those kind of guys. So the players have been really special in our room, and really grateful to be a part of that. But beyond that, just Coach Smith. I come in and Coach Smith's one of the best fundamental defensive line coaches in the country. Really gets those guys playing through their keys. Playing every down to the end of the down. So I get to learn all of that from him, but at the same time, I got to learn how to control a meeting room. That's one of the things that he does that's extraordinary, and being able to input positive energy into kids, even, maybe during a morning film session when the kids don't want to be there, really, to be honest. And that's some of the things that he does really special that I've been able to pick up from him.
I know. What does it mean to be part of that kind of Bulldog brotherhood from when you played here, and you see alums come back from all different eras each and every Saturday to watch this team play?
Certainly, Bulldog alum, Bulldog country, really strong, really special. You saw that at the end of the Grand Valley game, not one of the last FSU chants, right, from that crowd. And those things are really special to us as alumni. And just seeing those guys be proud of the product that we're putting onto the field is really important to us, really important to Coach Anise, and really important to our defensive coaching staff. So the support from the alum is huge.
Obviously, this week, a big game against Saginaw Valley. What's the preparation kind of been like this week? I know a little bit different in terms of the schedule with Election Day and some of the things going on here this week as you get ready for Saginaw Valley.
Yeah, again, our focus is internal. Just trying to become the best team that we can be week in and week out. Doesn't matter who's on the schedule. We're just going to try and become the best version of ourselves. And hopefully on Saturday, you'll see the best version of Ferris State football take that field.
And I know finally here, as you get ready, 2 games left in the regular season. What's it like and how nice is it to be able to play these 2 final games at home as you try to make a big push to the playoffs?
Unbelievable. We're at the end of college football season, right? I mean, it feels like just yesterday, right? We're going into August and fall camp, and then now we're wrapping it up, and hopefully, we can go out and I'm not sure we've seen the best version of this Ferris State football team yet. So I hope that down the road here we can become the best version of ourselves.
Coach, thanks for the time, and best of luck this Saturday as you take on Saginaw Valley.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Thank you, Sandy, and you guys, 2 of the best in the country right there. So we appreciate you guys every Saturday and all around the building at every sport.
Appreciate you.
Well, thank you. We'll be back with more of the Bulldog Blitz Football Radio Show presented by Two Hats Ranch after this timeout.